certain type bondsman, there's no way they can come up with that $1,000 to bond out. There's some way we need to micromanage these bondsmen so they cannot let these people get back out on the streets and do the same thing.
That goes to court, and I've heard Mr. Dunn, that's up to the circuit and session judges in each county.
Let me address that issue just a little bit. I've got to say one thing though, about the entire problem we're talking about, and I want to talk directly on bond issue. You'll notice what I just did, and I've had that going here since we started. I'm glad I got to say something. I took that gum out of my mouth and I put it in a piece of paper, and in a minute I'm going to put it in my pocket. I taught my children, I only have two, 34 and 21. I taught my children when they were in church or any place, in the car or whatever, when they chewed gum, they were to put it back in the wrapper or give it to me. That's education. Put my hand out many times, don't have anything to put in that, give it to me in my hand. It's called education. They don't go down the road, they don't roll down the window and throw this paper out the window. I've been taught better. Long-term fix on this, short-term fix is fine. I know what y'all want to fix now, this minute. Long-term fix is education. You teach your children not to take drugs. You teach your children not to use drugs. You teach your children not to go in your medicine cabinet and get your medicine. Now, you do this by example. You don't do this, but you do what I tell you to do. You drink alcohol, you tell them not to drink alcohol and drive, it was in one ear and out the other. So education is so important. You've got to have education. Now, a lot of things I want to address in here, but the bond issue, let me tell you, yesterday morning, I was in Sevier County and I asked for the death penalty on 3 men that broke in on a woman and killed her in Sevier County, Tennessee, to steal her drugs and her money. They got very few, if any, drugs. They got $50, which they divvied up. 2 of them got 20 apiece, 1 of them got 10 apiece. And they killed that woman. And I asked for the death penalty. It's one of those cases that came together that we were able to do that. And the judge says, and then I stood up and I asked the judge, I said, Judge, now that I've made my notice and you've appointed lawyers, I want to ask the court to revoke their $1 million bond. Because I don't know if they make $1 million bond or not, but some people do. He said, right now, today, I'm going to revoke that bond. We'll address that again when it comes back to our next court day. The defense lawyers can bring up the question of bond. Now, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You're talking about people that drive drunk, commit misdemeanors, and people that sell pills and do C felonies at best. And you want to revoke their bond and keep them in jail. Where are we going to put them? We don't have a place for them. But the Constitution, of which I just happen to have a copy, which I carried, Davey. I didn't carry this for this, and I got this from my United States representative, free of charge to me, but to some of y'all, and I guess I have my tax dollar paperwork somewhere along the way. But that's what the Constitution says. The state of Tennessee has a Constitution also. We have to follow that. Law officers have to follow that. Whether we like it or not, it's the Constitution. So, we can't just revoke a person's bond and put them in jail because that's where they need to be. Of course that's what you need to do. You don't need to be out here running over people, killing, or stealing their medicine and killing them. Or killing themselves, and that's a bigger issue, and that's one nobody's addressed here just until we haven't addressed it yet, but we're killing ourselves. You go to any of these funeral homes, when you read the newspaper, so-and-so is 40 years old, why did he die? The reason, normally die, at 30, 50, 60. We don't have teenagers. If you look in there, we don't have a lot of teenagers dying of this. These are adult people that are dying from drugs. So we've got to have a long-term thing for this. Let me call your attention back, and I'll be as brief as I can, but 1982, probably before you were born, I'm not really sure. Well, in 1982, the state of Tennessee changed its laws. Up until that time, had been a different way of doing things. So they made a major revision in laws in 1982. We had another major revision in laws in 1989. November the 1st, 1989, the law that we operate under now took effect. The last major review. What happened between 82 and 89, we had to change it again. Many of y'all that can't remember, crack cocaine came on the scene in the early 80s. I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and John Cup came up from Chattanooga and says, we're having crack cocaine. It's going to be something, it's going to kill us. It's going to be a scourge on our citizens. I said, well, John, never heard of such a thing. And between 82 and 89, we filled up our prisons in the state of Tennessee with people selling and delivering crack cocaine and powder cocaine, but mostly crack cocaine. So we had to change our law because it costs money. We can't put all the people that sell dope in the penitentiary. So we changed our laws. And now we have a thing called 30% and 35 and 45 and 60%. Most are going to serve 60% in any fund. You got to have all these former things that can get you there. So that's why people are out there. It's because of the money issue. Not only because of the money issue, but also because of the Constitution. And right now our Constitution says that, you know, the only crime that you can be held for without a bond is first-degree murder, capital first-degree murder. Okay? And then again, it's still up to the court. And I told you what just happened yesterday in court over there. So there are problems with the bonding things, and this can be addressed through Senator Sutherland and Representative Eddie Oakley. However, I will tell you, one of the most powerful lobbies in the state of Tennessee is the bonding industry. And I speak to the bonding people every year at their conventions or when they get together or whatever. Well, I did last year. I don't know if they have them back after last year. But all across the state of Tennessee, they may not invite them back. But what I'm telling you is this, is that the laws are going to be what the citizens doing what they're doing tonight here. Involved in something, believe in something, something should be done, and then they work to do that. You can't look at the other end, you know, out there 10 years from now, what it's going to be like. You got to look at today. What's happening today? What can we do to fix this problem today? And you got it right here. You got it. The interest in the community. Somebody has to believe that something can be done. But we still have to do it in compliance with the United States Constitution and the Tennessee Constitution. I can't just do what we want to do because it's us. Pogo said that, you know, a long time ago. By the way, that's in yesterday's crossword puzzle. We have met the enemy, and the enemy is us. You know, that's an old thing from comics from a long time ago. But it's true. We have allowed generations of people to do what they want to do. We can't do that. We have to be disciplined to follow the law, whatever the law is.
Exactly. And as far as the bonding issue goes, I think there should be a stricter, policy to these bonding companies that I feel personally, and I know there's a lot of citizens in here that feel the same way that I do, that are not abiding by the Constitution.
What we can do, is, and this can go to the General Sessions Court or the circuit judges, either one, can go down every week if they want to, or every day if they want to, and they can examine the assets and the liabilities of bonding companies. In fact, they have a duty to do that. We filed a petition in the criminal court of Superior County a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, because a bonding company come in and made the bond for a first-degree murder. $1 million bond. The judge reduced it to something like $750,000 or something. They come in and immediately made his bond. When he told the court he didn't have no money to make the bond, he immediately made a $750,000